Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury is looking to be one of the biggest fights in terms of purses for crossover fights, and it's raising a lot of questions and predictions. Even Joe Rogan had an interesting take on who he thought could potentially win. While many people are celebrating the possibly biggest paycheck for Francis, Chael Sonnen believes that Tyson is simply bullying Francis. Sonnen stated, "It's the most ridiculous sporting competition of our time. What kind of scumbag is Fury though, man? I really gotta tell you, Fury broke my heart. I liked this guy and I liked the entertainment. I like so many things about him. You take a guy like Fury and he's going to choose his weapons to beat up a guy who's at least 37 with no experience and is on one leg. That's a bully, and it's a scumbag. I would never do that to somebody. Jesse James made a lot of money, and there's hitmen that made a lot of money. I mean, there's things that you can do, but you own it. You're a bully, and you're a scumbag." Alexander Usyk thinks that Tyson simply took this fight for the simple paycheck and to avoid fighting him. Usyk stated, "The guy's going to earn some decent money. For Francis Ngannou, this is a great opportunity, but for Tyson Fury, it's definitely not. Doesn't it seem strange that instead of choosing a top 10 guy, he's choosing someone who has never boxed before? Yes, of course. Greedy belly Fury is afraid of me. Let's make it happen. I'm ready." For quite some time, it was believed that Francis was set to earn approximately $8 million for this upcoming fight, but Jake Paul set the record straight in a recent tweet and stated, "Francis got 8 figures, not 8 million. Get it right." In the end, Eddie Hearn doesn't think that people can really blame Tyson Fury for wanting to make a lot of money for fighting Francis.
What do you think about it though?
What, the fight?
We don't know all the stipulations and rules around it, but
I don't think you can blame Tyson Fury for making a load of money to fight Francis Ngannou. I mean, but it's just, you can't come out and say you're about this, you're about that, and then, like, the Usyk fight was there. Everyone knows that. And he chose not to fight him. Again, I go back to it. If you really want to fight, you make it happen. The Usyk fight was there for him in Saudi for a load of money. He's chose not to do it. He's chose to fight Francis Ngannou. But I don't begrudge the man. I mean, he's going to be 100 to 1 on to beat. Like, Francis Ngannou couldn't beat Tyson. They could fight 1,000,000 times and Francis Ngannou wouldn't win the fight. And if Fury's going to get 40, 50 million to fight him, good luck to him. But he's not a serious, he doesn't really want undisputed legacy.
Khabib Nurmagomedov believes that Francis is on his way to making even more money, but he has a warning for him. Khabib stated, "If he can go to boxing, he's going to make $50 to $60 million. He has to. Why not? Because I know that Francis has come from a poor life. If someone pays you more money, go and take it if your goal is money. Tyson Fury, this guy is the best right now. I think Tyson Fury is on a different level in boxing. If they fight in MMA, of course, Francis Ngannou has a chance. If they fight in the UFC, Tyson Fury has not much of a chance. In boxing, I don't see anyone that can touch his face. Maybe Alexander Usyk. Usyk is going to be his toughest challenge for Tyson Fury." Carl Froch thinks that this fight is a joke and he thinks that they should get real fights instead. Carl stated, "Tyson Fury against Ngannou, so a crossover fight, boxing and MMA. Been there, seen it, heard it all before. Seen it with Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. It's a load of rubbish. Nobody's interested anymore. MMA fighters trying to call out boxers, trying to get the clickbait talking so they can get these paydays. It's a load of rubbish. They've been talking ages about, oh, the game's changing, it's gonna be brilliant. What a disappointment. I was actually excited thinking, right, I can't wait for this news. And then you go and pull that out of the bag. A dead rabbit out of the bag, straight in the bin. It's just of no use to anybody. So just stick to boxing promotion and get a real fight for Fury." John Fury supports his son's decision and he explains why Tyson decided to take the money for his fight instead of fighting another boxer. John stated, "It's great, good business, good payday, and a great night, a fun night, and that's what Tyson needs. I just think it'll bring a lot of eyes and a lot of bums on seats. How do you train for a man like Francis Ngannou? You can't. You can't get sparring for him, you can't replicate him, it'll be difficult to. So what he's got to do is take his best game in that ring and put his best foot forward. When those two gigantic men step into the ring and face each other, egos take over. Absolutely, AJ would have taken this fight whilst champion, and if they say not, they're lying. Muhammad Ali did the same thing. He was lineal champion, and he did the same thing. I remember when I was a kid, we watched it. We couldn't wait to watch it. Simon Jordan believes that this is an absolute joke of a fight, and it never should have happened, though.
Interesting that, Spence, because obviously it's now been announced that is indeed the fight that Tyson Fury's involved in.
Yeah.
And in the Middle East,
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou. I'm not enamoured with this fight, and I've told Frank Warren that I think it's and I'm disappointed to see the WBC champion of the world fighting in an exhibition fight. So it's not an exhibition fight. There'll be knockdown rules.
Yeah.
But this is not. This is the WBC champion of the world fighting Thunderlips.
Francis knows that people are expecting him to fail, and he even called out Dana White specifically when he addressed it. Francis stated, "For some reason, I always prove Dana White wrong, even when he's on my side. I always prove him wrong every single time. This is just our story. They were ready to do John Jones and Tyson Fury in MMA. Why couldn't they do Ngannou and Fury in boxing? I think that was just to take the fight away from me, and they even sent out a contract, which I think was very embarrassing, because that contract was rejected and they signed mine for the gimmick fight promotions. It's not a secret that so many people wanted me to fail. They don't want me to succeed. It's not a secret. It's quite obvious, and you all know about it." Going along with that, even George St. Pierre tried to give his best to Francis while also warning him of what he was getting himself into. George stated, "I'm glad for Francis because he's going to make a lot of money, probably a lot more than all his fights in UFC. But on the other hand, my heart is with Francis, but he's going to take on the champion, the best boxer in his sport. So he's the one who's going into another sport, so the odds will not favor him. But we never know, you never know. A big punch coming from out of nowhere could seal the deal. But even though the odds are not in his favor, my heart is with him." Dillian White thinks that this is just a joke, and he joins the other boxers who seem to think the same thing.
What do you think about Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou?
I don't even know what to say, man. Crossover fights is good, but it shouldn't be an exhibition fight, though. It should be a proper fight. Either boxing rules with MMA gloves on, or that's what it should have been. Boxing rules with MMA gloves on. Then that's meet in the middle. You understand? Or punches and kicks with no takedown in the boxing ring. I don't know. Well, an exhibition is a bit of a joke having an exhibition. It's like they're both too big to be it should be a proper fight, man. It should be a proper fight. How much rounds is it as well?
I don't think anything's been confirmed exactly the stipulations around it.
He's gonna just beat Boss Ngannou. Ngannou can't strike. Even if he's not.
Did you say Bungano?
Bungo, whatever his name is, I don't know.
Ngannou.
After hearing about how much money Francis was set to make, Conor McGregor was more interested in the possibilities of the fight. Conor stated, "I'm interested. Let's see how it goes. I've not heard much about it, but I'm happy for Ngannou. Fair play to him. What weight is Tyson? Is he in shape? Anything can happen in there, so I wish them both well, and I'm excited to see it." Otto Wallen spent 12 hours in the ring with Tyson Fury, and he definitely doesn't see a way for Francis Ngannou to beat Tyson. Otto stated, "Tyson is the best heavyweight fighter in the world of boxing. Ngannou might be the best at MMA at heavyweight, so this fight is going to be at boxing, so you obviously gotta favor Fury a lot. Tyson's fighting someone that's making his pro debut as a boxer, really. It's a whole different sport, and it's as difficult as it'll be for Fury to go over to MMA. It's gonna be the same for Ngannou, so of course Fury's gonna be a big favorite." Well, Joe Rogan sees power on both sides, but he's not sure Francis will be able to touch Tyson Fury.
Ngannou does have the nuclear option, though. He really does. He does have nuclear one-punch knockout power. He has one of his knockouts of Alistair Overeem was one of the most terrifying knockouts I've ever seen in my life. He spun Alistair's head behind while he's looking at the back of his feet. That's how hard he hit him. Now, is he going to land that on Tyson Fury? It's going to be real hard.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.